It is the Riot Podcast. Welcome to Monday, January 31st.
Oh, the gang is back together again.
The whole crew. We got us all. We're all in the same room. We can see each other. We could touch each other if we wanted to, but we don't.
That's not cleared
yet. We're close enough. We're close enough.
No. Never.
But we can breathe on each other.
Yep, that we can do.
We can breathe the same air. So it's good to have everybody back in the show today. And a lot of the show today does revolve around what happened while Nikki was gone, then while Isaiah was gone this weekend. There was a lot to catch up on.
So hopefully you guys want to text us and add what did you guys do and what do we need to catch up with you guys?
Yeah, right. You got to fill Nikki in on what she might have missed.
Did I miss anything else?
With you guys.
So make sure you text and say hi to 877 to RadioU for even anytime you listen to the podcast. If you want to add something to it, just text and we'll get those.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about today all throughout the podcast, like you said. We talked about when Nikki was gone, and we threw a couple clips together, some montages of just idiotic things that Hudson and I said, so that Nikki kind of get caught up on what's going on around here.
That way I can reply back to the emails, and I know what I'll be listening for.
What you have to defend.
Exactly.
I only got one negative email.
You did?
Goodness.
I didn't even know you got a negative email.
They were feeling you guys were a bit bro-ish.
Oh, of course they were. What did you expect, all right?
They just weren't used to two guys.
Guy talk.
That's
two guys on the microphone.
Hey,
That's right.
You know what? You can find that. Well, I mean, turn to any other radio station. You're going to get a lot of that too, probably.
Absolutely. Yes. And they weren't even mean about it, so it was good.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, so one of the ones that we talked about, and it was in the third montage. It was when we had talked about how the COVID situation with all the falling out of hair and stuff. Just before that, it was where Hudson asked me, I asked him, how much would you want to buy the baby for?
Is that from the lady in Texas who was like
at
randomly
Walmart.
just went up to somebody?
Yep.
And tried to buy
and
her
she had
baby.
Like cash?
Yes.
Did she have cash?
She had cash in the car.
I didn't see that in the
She had a
story.
bunch of money, and she essentially was trying to buy someone's baby off her at Walmart, which was insane. But Hudson and I went through a little scenario where we were asking each other, how much will you pay for the baby? And Hudson was like,
pay for the baby or like sell your baby
sell the baby, buy the baby, and because she said
What's the going rate?
Yeah, it was $500K was how much she had gotten up to, and then Hudson went on to say that'd be so hard to turn down, and then he said I wouldn't be able to. And then he goes, I wouldn't be able to, and I was like, you wouldn't be able to what? Like turn it down? He's like, no, sell the baby, sell the baby. And that was my favorite one was Hudson saying, I wouldn't be able to turn it down.
No,
I was
of course.
like, oh my gosh.
Of course
then
you
on the
could.
mic, you just make it seem like he's saying
Yes.
you'd be able to say no to it.
Yes.
It would be because the scenario in my mind, I didn't know she had cash. I didn't see that in the story. I imagined her pulling out, like you're in the checkout aisle, and she pulls out her checkbook, and just starts writing, and then she's like, name your price.
Name your price.
Are you gonna like Venmo it or something?
Yeah.
What do you do? But because I think in the article they talked about how she kept saying, "I got the cash right out there."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Some other thing with it, like it was super, super weird.
Well, we found she also was definitely good for the money. She offered up to $500,000. She was able to get out she paid the bond to get out of.
She had the money in the car.
So she had some money rolling around. It was burning a hole in her pocket. The only thing she could spend it on was a baby, evidently.
That is weird.
Yeah.
We talked about that one. We also touched on a little bit too. We were talking about last week some Valentine's Day stuff, and obviously Hudson and I are giving all of our advice, which probably you got some emails about that too. Hudson and I giving Valentine's Day advice, like, well, you don't really have to buy the chocolates. Maybe the flowers instead is what you need to do. But that came up in the podcast again today, talking about some cockroaches for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's a common one. If you just look at your zoo, this is their big money maker for the holidays.
I don't know if you heard, Isaiah. I was just trying to prepare everybody in relationships that there could be some breakups coming. We got 2 weeks until Valentine's.
Oh, yeah.
This is prime breakup time.
No, it's not.
Right before Valentine's Day?
This is, you know what happens at this time?
It's right after.
There's people that are sitting and they're thinking, like they're perusing, like, what am I going to do for my special someone for Valentine's? They're looking at the chocolates, looking at making reservations. They look at all of it and they just go, it's not really worth it.
Oh my gosh. just sounds like a personal story. Hudson,
wait.
someone break up with you right before Valentine's Day. He already had the flowers.
Oh, here's another email
just
from
thought-
someone coming in.
I
yeah, here
thought
it
you
comes.
might identify because you don't want to pay for appetizers on a date. Maybe you don't want to pay for a whole Valentine's Day experience.
Oh, no, you definitely don't have to pay for the entire Valentine's Day experience. As long as you get some chocolates or something, just
I think
casual.
this Valentine's Day, and we'll have to talk closer to it. It's going to be weird because you have the Super Bowl on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or no, wait,
Sunday.
Sunday.
Valentine's Day is on a Monday.
That's a horrible day for
and
Valentine's
you
Day.
already feel like you're going to be, depending on your relationship, either the night before you already did something for the Super Bowl, and then
man.
Valentine's Day you're like, well, wait, we just did something, and
no,
some
you're
guys,
right.
feel like maybe is that too much pressure to spend time with your girlfriend for 2 days?
Back-to-back nights. Oh, my gosh.
Right? Or do you have to do the Super Bowl with like your friends and the girl's not invited?
Oh,
so I feel
wow.
like that can be a bit.
See,
There's
going
gonna
to
be some fights.
In my
I'm
view-
like, we already spent time together.
I hung out with you just yesterday. Do I ever get to hang out with my friends anymore?
I'm hearing that happen.
I think the best way to do it would be celebrate Valentine's Day on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And just kind of observe it then. I mean, it's on the weekend anyways. You're going to have more fun if you
Dude.
can do it on a weekend than if you have to do it after work or something.
Hudson.
And then maybe you get the flowers
go.
delivered to work or
On
something
Monday.
on Monday. And,
Yeah.
still make Monday special too.
Psst. She's still going to want to celebrate on Monday.
I know,
Okay,
right?
so don't. That's
You're
not
going
a
to do
good
a dinner
idea.
on Saturday, and then Monday's going to roll
Monday.
around. She's going to be like,
dare.
well, like, I mean, are we going to do nothing? You're like, no, I mean, if you want, we could do dinner again, I guess, if you want to
no.
celebrate it twice.
Like,
I
it
just
doesn't.
don't
That's
want-
why the breakups are happening.
Yeah,
I'm
Your
telling my
approach.
wife I don't want to let the calendar dictate our love and how we show it and celebrate it. I think we should do it in the way that feels best for us.
Oh, look at you, you little
which is
romantic.
celebrating it on Saturday. And not,
Well, this has been a long introduction.
yeah, we had a lot to catch up on. A lot of stuff we've held in and not been
Yeah.
able to get out for these last couple of weeks.
Well, enjoy the podcast today, and we got a nice long week ahead of us, so plenty of time to break up with someone. That's
right.
So enjoy it.
We'll catch you
See you
next
guys.
time.
Bye-bye.
Hudson sees the glass as half empty.
But get this.
He thinks a glass half empty is good. The Riot. Radio U.
So we now know the matchup of the Super Bowl will be Bengals against the Rams.
Well, those are some games yesterday.
Yep, and when we get to the Super Bowl, when you're watching Bengals and Rams, you could also be tapping the keg. The chili cheese keg. How about that?
What does that look like?
We've got Hormel, the chili cheese people.
Sure.
I mean, they make a lot of things. Chili cheese is one of them. And for the big game, they have a 15-gallon hot chili cheese keg that is ready for you. It will dispense out your hot chili cheese dip.
Yeah.
So that you can celebrate appropriately during the big game.
Now, kind of how they have the promotional picture, it
Yeah.
looks like, because it's on the ground, looking up at the people behind, watching
Yeah.
the big game, like on a TV in the back of the car.
Yeah.
It looks like a tiny thing.
Yeah, right.
Even though if it's 15 gallons, I guess that feels big.
How many people would you need to get through 15 gallons of chili cheese?
I'm not up on chili enough to know how much would you go through, especially if it was a bigger
Feels
game.
like you need like 50 people, right?
No, probably not.
Well, okay, one
You get
person
carried
isn't
away.
one person isn't going to eat a gallon.
You don't know?
That might be maybe 1 out of 15, but you're going to need at least 30.
Well, can you put a
Think
lid
of
back on it?
Yes, okay, listen. You go to the grocery store, you get a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
You empty that out. You fill it up with chili cheese. Tell me how long it's
That
going to
would-
take you to get through that. And that's 1 gallon.
You're right. 15 of those would be. Listen, okay, I feel like you're judging how much people snack during a bigger game. This is a bigger game. It's for the Super Bowl.
Maybe there's going to be some waste involved too.
There is. Some will get stuck in the keg.
It'll spill and stuff. But I mean, you can win this, and then you can throw the biggest party ever, where everybody gets as all you can eat chili cheese, basically.
So the tap handle is in the shape of a Hormel chili can.
Of course it is.
It's got a chili cheese pump so you can pour out of it. At full capacity, the keg provides 300 4-ounce
Oh,
servings
wow.
of Hormel chili cheese.
So I'm thinking if that's 300 4-ounce servings, that's at least like 50 people are going to be, and then they're each having 6.
You're right.
6 servings.
You can have leftovers too.
Oh, I guess you can. I was thinking, so it says you can enter through February 6th at HormelChiliCheesecake.com. And then if you're the winner, they'll hand deliver the keg to you before the game, February 13th.
Well, that means you can't ship this thing.
No, it's huge.
Someone has to deliver it.
And I'm thinking that they're going to take it back, right? You don't just get to keep a keg.
Well, now that's a good question. Go look at the rules for it, because why not? I would want to keep the keg.
Yeah, but I mean, you should be able to, right?
I want the little chili cheese can decorative.
I think they're going to take it back.
Spout. No.
Yeah, they keep the tap handle.
I want to keep that. That's part of it.
That's such a college bro thing to do.
I know, put that up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be fun. It'd definitely be fun to have a chili cheese keg. But I'm just saying, you're not going to get if you had to buy this, you wouldn't get your money's worth out of it.
Well, probably not, but that's what's the fun of a contest.
Yeah, that's the fun.
I am looking at the thing. There's a lot of rules, so I'll have to go through this.
Yeah.
Accompanied by a chaperone. Here we go. Okay, listen to the words here. For use that day.
Yeah, right.
Accompanied by a chaperone, furnished by the sponsor's use during the day, so that it's properly functioning during your party. So you're right. I don't think you get to keep it.
No, you don't get to. You don't even get to use it yourself. You don't even get to touch that tap handle.
No, the person takes it back. So, that's interesting.
You have to tip that person?
No, you don't.
You don't? You don't tip the chili cheesecake?
I'll tell you a tip. Leave the Hormel cheese can thing. That's the tip.
If you're looking for hot takes on the day's most important news stories, you're in the wrong place. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Good morning, Isaiah.
Good morning, everybody.
I don't know if everybody saw, it was back on actually Saturday when the news initially broke. Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington from ESPN were saying that Tom Brady was going to retire.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts when you saw that update?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I was like shocked that he was done, but at the same time, I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy that they announced it so soon before the Super Bowl, and it was just kind of, nobody was really expecting it to happen, I guess. So
yeah.
My initial thoughts were, wow, Tom Brady retired. Well, he's pretty old.
He's pretty old. That's all they ever seem to want to talk about.
But then I kept seeing it was trending, like you would look at every other news source and like, he's not. He's waiting.
Yeah.
He has to wait till like the 4th. And they're like, there's all these conflicting reports.
That was my initial reaction was I looked at the story and I showed it to my wife because, she's a huge Tom Brady fan. She's like, is that for real? And I was like, well, it says sources say, and then I click on the link, and that's the story. Sources say. That's very vague, and I don't know what your guys' view of Tom Brady is, but to me, like whatever you may think of him, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that would want news out there of his retirement, like before the Super Bowl and stuff, where like I don't think he will want to take the shine away from all the football that was actually going on over the weekend. So it seems weird that the news would break. And then we heard from people from the Buccaneers, Tom Brady's dad. We've heard from that said he hasn't decided yet.
I didn't know we heard from his dad.
His
dad's upset.
Yeah, his dad not pleased. So I mean, it's early today. We may get more news, but at the moment, it's still up in the air. It doesn't mean they've said he hasn't decided.
Sure.
Or for the Buccaneers, they haven't informed them yet. So it doesn't mean that he's not going to decide eventually or announce eventually. But it was a weird timing. It was a little jumping the gun, definitely from the ESPN reporters saying that it was a done deal.
Well, I had to laugh at some of the banners that the places made for social media because they're like, thank you for your service and all this and like however many years. And I was like, yeah, but he's saying he's not. So I guess I assume we'll find out more this week.
It was weird. It was one of those moments, when a celebrity dies and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, man, I loved it. And then they list all the stuff they loved about it. And they talk like way more glowingly than they ever did while they were alive. And people are doing that for Tom Brady like he died. and saying all this, oh, he's the GOAT. Nobody, I mean, his fans were saying that, but all these other people would hate on him most of the time. Be like, I don't want to see him win again. And then the moment he's out of the league, loved him all along.
Well, Isaiah,
sad to see him go.
Keep us updated when we officially get word on Tom Brady, because I don't feel like that's officially
I think
been
we need
said.
to get you on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
You start making some calls.
I think that we just need to wait until Tom says that he's done for anybody else. I think it's kind of messed up to try to like break the news on someone such an epic retiring. Like let Tom do his press conference and do it his own way, and don't try to say like, oh, he's retiring before he's even said he even is. So let him do his thing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But like you said, he's older, so he's can old. If he wants.
Yeah,
he's old.
The other thing some people were saying was that now he just might not retire just to spite them.
Oh, yes.
To spite the reporters.
I'll play another year.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think, though? He said one of his goals is to play till he's 45, which would be, I think, next year.
Yeah.
So why would he cut it short right now?
He's still really good. So.
Yeah, right.
He had a great year, but I think the announcement's going to come. If all these sources say that he's out, I think he just wants to do it.
You think he wants to retire?
No, I think he wants to announce his retirement.
Oh, sure.
But I also think he wants to retire as well.
No, I think he wants to keep playing.
You think so?
I think it's just Giselle.
Hey, guys, that's why we have this back and forth thing.
Right.
Yes.
You're both doing it, too. We'll just have to wait and see.
The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
It is that time of year with Valentine's Day coming up. That brings a lot of joy and love to a lot of people, but it also brings a lot of heartache for others, painful reminders. Some people, maybe it hasn't happened yet, but you might get broken up with right before Valentine's Day.
Don't
Just
say
what?
that.
It could happen.
No, you're not supposed
Some people
to say
do that.
Way to just talk negative. You know what? That's negative. And now, you're just throwing that out
You need
there.
to be prepared.
You do not.
If you think things maybe aren't going well, you know what? You probably won't see it coming. It'll probably be completely out of the blue. Somebody will break up with you.
It would have happened around Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't think somebody? I mean, I guess it's pretty bad to leave it right up until Valentine's Day. But people, if you don't want to get sucked into Valentine's Day can be expensive, and if you value your money more than you value your relationship, it might be about time to cut the cord and get out.
It's not cable. It's a relationship.
Well, I just want everybody to be prepared.
Sure.
But the good news is there are plenty of zoos out there for if you are harboring some
anger,
some anger, some unrest due to a bad relationship. There are plenty of zoos that are willing to help by offering to name cockroaches after your ex in exchange for a small donation, of course.
It usually happens every Valentine's Day, and there's a ton of zoos that do it.
So I'm looking at the list now. I mean, we've got some in the UK, but we also have in the United States. The best one, I think, is the San Antonio Zoo.
I think they're one of the ones who've done it the longest.
You think? Mm-hmm. They know how to do it right, because not only will they let you name a cockroach after your ex, but they will actually feed it to an animal, which feels like the logical endpoint, right? You don't just want, I don't know, maybe what's worse, having your cockroach ex, just kind of have to live as a cockroach in misery. It doesn't feel like that'd be a very enjoyable life, or meet an unfortunate end. Which one do you think is more appropriate?
I don't know. I feel like the living part would be more.
Yeah, we'll have to live with what they've done.
It depends on how much they want for a donation, because you are helping the zoos raise money. So like the Bronx Zoo will do it. It's a hissing cockroach that you can name. Uh-huh. You can also add like a hat and socks, or this roach encounter thing to like a package if you want to buy it. So find out like your local zoo or some of the bigger ones, and normally around Valentine's Day you can name some sort of cockroach, whatever you want to name it.
Because we're seeing, what do we have? We have San Antonio, where they will feed it to somebody. We have the Bronx Zoo, the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago will do it. I've got a few in the, almost any zoo probably has something like this. Maybe they have something cooler than a cockroach.
Maybe. Well, some are doing rats.
Rats?
And the rats are usually the ones fed to.
I think that feels more appropriate anyways, doesn't it?
Gosh, can you imagine that? You're like, if I named something, even if it was after an ex, once you name something,
you get attached to it?
You get attached to it.
Yeah. So then you would start to maybe find attachment for your ex once again.
No.
And that's not what you want.
No, you're right. But if it depends on is the rat alive or is it this is a frozen rat that's been dead for a while? You're I don't know how they're actually going to do it.
I think it would feel like it would have more of an emotional punch if it was
alive.
Alive still.
But you're also not at the zoo holding it.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's going on. You're taking the zoo's word for it.
Yeah, right. I think some of them say they give you a certificate or whatever, which that's even weirder, isn't it? Here's my certificate for when I named a cockroach after my ex.
Well, that's what
you wouldn't keep that, would you?
Yeah, you post that, you tag your ex in it.
Yeah, right.
You're hey, this is what you did this.
And you think that's going to make your ex feel bad?
No,
it's not.
They're already
They're going to be like, I made the right choice.
I broke up.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy dandy fast forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, I love this story because it has just enough detail where we know what happened. We know the basic story, but there's so much that we don't know, and it's just left up to your imagination. This is in Thornhurst, Pennsylvania, where one man was arrested because he's technically allegedly beat another person with a metal skillet.
Oh, no.
Now, why did he beat another man with a metal skillet, allegedly? Because the other person would not accept his offer of fried potatoes.
Oh, he was mad?
He was mad. He was using that skillet. Before he was using it to beat the man, he was using it to fry potatoes.
Some people just take it as rejection.
Yeah.
Even though it's just saying no to the potatoes. But a 27-year-old guy was frying potatoes in hot oil with a metal skillet, and then he offered it to the 32-year-old victim who said no.
There's some things even about the story that make it, the wording is funny, where he says he was the 27-year-old offered the fried potatoes to the 32-year-old victim, as if offering the potatoes is what made him the victim.
No, it set him off.
Yeah, the potatoes, I do have to question why the guy would say no to the potatoes. It sounds delicious, doesn't it?
I think the bigger issue is we don't know how he said no.
Yeah, right.
Because remember,
maybe he's like, your potatoes
important.
Always suck. Mm-hmm. Why would I eat the potatoes from the likes of you?
I feel like it went personal real fast, and that's when he threw the hot frying oil and the potatoes.
He became
in the guy's
suddenly
face.
Enraged.
Man, so I wonder if that's like his roommate or something.
Yeah,
or,
right.
Family member or whatever.
I think it's fairly clear that there was probably something bubbling beneath the surface before.
That was the oil.
That led to this. And then, maybe there was some substances involved or something like that. But another thing, and again, it's just the way they word it. It says he beat the person so hard with the skillet that the handle fell off.
You would have had to have been there.
Yeah, but it leads you to believe he beat him so hard. Oh, what? That his nose broke or something? No, that the handle fell off the skillet. That's what we're concerned about. The skillet. I hope the skillet's okay.
I don't think we should ever be fighting like this. Went next level. But to me, I love anything potatoes, so I would never say no. Yeah. And I think that's a safer thing.
It's really, you should, especially if somebody's got a hot skillet.
Just say yes.
Just say, you do what they say. Because you don't know what can happen.
You're like, if I say no, what are you going to do with that?
Right.
And how new is the skillet? Is the handle going to pop off?
Yeah.
Are you going to hit me with it?
Yeah, you just, I don't know. Maybe you need to start practicing some defense techniques against skillets.
I don't know. So at this point, the victim went to the hospital for a significant head injury and burns. And then the man who was the one with the potatoes, he has several charges, including assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, you have been out for close to 2 entire weeks.
Yeah.
Out of the office, off of the show.
Clap, guys.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you're supporting me with that amount of time.
What? Nikki's like, I loved it, okay? I loved being out. I didn't want to return, but I had to.
I had to. I mean, I was in on Friday, all right?
Yeah. You came in for one singular day.
Yes, I did. And
That's
the
commitment.
week before, Monday was off as a holiday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
count.
Doesn't
so
count.
You're saying 2 weeks. I'm saying not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, but that said, however long you were gone, you missed a lot.
I did.
While you were out of the show.
I feel like I missed a lot between you two.
What do you mean?
There was a lot of things that happened. Good things, bad things, other things.
I saw all the text messages.
Yes. A lot of angry people. There was a lot of angry listeners.
There was definitely a few times, too. I don't know if it's covered in this. Because Isaiah was nice enough, and we're going to get to it the first in a second, to put together some of the things that you might have missed.
Yeah, from
that
your,
you need to hear.
Your
like a little montage.
Or that at least you should hear. Or we want to make sure you hear them from us and not from somebody else. But there was a few times, and I don't know if it made it into this, where we could have used a woman's perspective on the show for sure. That
a couple of those made it in.
Yeah. I did see those text messages.
You never miss those. You never miss those.
Let's just see. I don't even remember all that Isaiah put in this, so this will be a little bit of a surprise to me as well.
Let's hear what happened.
What you might have missed. That squirrel, if it's zipping all over the place, you got to have pretty good aim.
Methed out squirrel? Like, you're not touching a methed out squirrel.
You are not going to catch a methed out squirrel.
What?
He's a great guy, but he doesn't have nipples. Like, how do I continue this relationship?
No, why would I do that?
Well, if it came down to it, you wouldn't share a Q-tip with me.
No, why would I? I don't need a Q-tip that bad. If you use it before me.
Deal.
Yeah, so
that's what I missed.
There's a lot there. That's just one of them.
I'm sorry. It was a methed out squirrel.
It was a methed out. There was a guy that has an attack squirrel. He kept fed it meth to keep it aggressive.
We were so jealous of him. We were so jealous.
Now, I did hear about the Q-tip thing.
Well, I don't know if you heard all of the Q. So in that, Isaiah's talking about sharing a Q-tip. He's talking about doing that for a COVID test.
Oh,
yes. That's how it started. Was people were sharing COVID tests.
Yeah.
And Hudson said, "Wow, this is crazy." And I said,
and doctors said, "Don't do that."
And I didn't think it was that crazy of a thing.
Well, I mean, if you're so close to each other to share a Q-tip, you probably would have shared COVID already.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, why not just take
one test?
Only one of you take a test then instead of sharing a Q-tip.
You can just do nostril. I hand it to Hudson. He hits nostril.
Why
we
would
stick
I
it in
do
there.
that?
We get a big mix of 4 nostrils, and somebody has COVID. Or now both of us.
But one of us might not.
No, you would just do the one nose, one person, and then the other nose would be, the other side of it would be
Flip
that.
the Q-tip around.
Well, again, I've told you guys before, do not listen to anything medical when it comes to us in this show, so don't.
Well, so here was the thing, though. So we talked about sharing Q-tips in regards to that, but then I brought up something to Nikki that I took note of that I've never confronted you about.
I heard.
In the entire 2 weeks. You were listening, huh?
I was.
I guess you had a long plane flight.
I was by the pool at this point. I had actually went to the bathroom, and I came back from the bathroom, and my roommate we had RadioU on, and he was sitting there, and I came back, and he was like, they just spent like a whole segment talking about how you were using Q-tips in the studio. And I was like, yes. It was a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Yes, I used them. But I thought that was justified.
What do you mean?
It was justified.
Why? So he was coming over here every morning.
I feel like you're telling on him to me.
I know, exactly.
You heard this. I'm telling everybody
Nikki,
else.
He was coming over here and he was using a Q-tip behind me.
Everybody else needs to hear that Isaiah was walking over for some reasons. I'm told it's for cleaning, not for cleaning Isaiah's ears. It's for cleaning like our equipment.
Which I didn't know. I did not know.
Big box of Q-tips, and Isaiah would walk around me every morning, grab a Q-tip, and just start sticking it in his ear.
Like everybody does.
No, they don't.
Everyone
they don't
uses Q-tips to clean their ears.
And you're not supposed to use them for that, even though I don't really fault you. I don't know why. Like, you're not an idiot. You're not going to push it too far and burst your eardrum. But you're still not supposed to. But you're coming around, and it wasn't even like you just, kind of quietly do it to yourself. You'd be like, oh, I love a good Q-tip in the air in the morning.
That may be accurate.
You're not supposed to clean your ears with Q-tips.
See, but listen, tally of the room. Who has cleaned their ear with a Q-tip in here?
Yeah, but it's
exactly. Everybody's raised their hand.
You're not supposed
Everybody
to.
did.
Well, I am sorry, Hudson, because I feel like that was gross.
Listen.
I understand too, because then it's there. There's a box of
Exactly.
Q-tips
I had no idea they were for cleaning things. I assumed it was like, oh yeah, we're here pretty early in the morning. Maybe in the morning you forgot to clean your ears, so they're back there. I actually thought that they were. I thought that they were Nikki's because they were behind where she sits, and I was like, Nikki must clean your ears every morning when I'm not looking. Every morning she must clean them.
Hey, don't assume that.
I know. She's like, I do, but don't tell anyone down there. We're putting it on you. You're the only one that does that. They're right back there in the corner.
They're back there. It was just crazy how, Isaiah and I did the show together for less than 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, he became way more comfortable than you and I have ever been around each other. We've been doing it for a long time. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't kill each other.
Yeah. It went great.
And I want to stress again, that's only one of the things that you didn't get to hear.
Is there more you're going to tell me later?
So much more.
Okay.
So much more. You don't even want to know.
Which is why you're going to tell me.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Why pay for so many streaming services that you don't really care about when you can not really care about The Riot for free? Radio U.
Nikki back in her host chair.
Yay.
Where she's running the board and everything, back in her rightful position. I'm back sitting on the right side of the desk where I'm supposed to be, and Isaiah's here also.
I'm also in the corner.
Yay!
We've been all three of us together in the room in our regular configuration since before Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Since I got COVID, that's it. Fine.
Yeah, right. So while you were gone,
sure.
I'm sure over the entire 2 weeks, you probably didn't listen to every single show, right?
I didn't, but I would always still get the text message notifications, so I could kind of like track along with what you guys were talking about.
I don't know if they're an accurate representation.
Well, they're close enough.
They're close, but but you really need to hear. You really need to hear what went down while you were gone. So Isaiah's put together some of the stuff that you might have missed, and we have another round for you and everyone.
Okay.
Right here. What is unique about you?
So do me.
So what do you mean, right now?
Yeah. Which one?
You know, for you have like, I don't know, like what I notice is your boyish look.
Awesome. That's a great answer, Hudson. Thank you. You're a little boyness. That's what I remember.
You should age
I don't remember.
You should age well. You might actually be in on the fashion trend and you don't even realize.
Oh, you think that I'm already, you think I'm ahead of the game on this one?
You might be a little bit. The Wall Street Journal has declared, especially for men's fashion, the trend is basically dressing like a child.
So what you're insinuating is you think I'm already dressing like a child.
In some ways, you're dressing like a child.
I'm wearing a black hoodie.
I just really think that's what it is. That's what it is, the hoodie.
So basically, you think he's a kid.
Yes.
In many ways.
That one I labeled Hudson disrespects Isaiah.
I didn't even realize I was being that Isaiah thought I was insulting him.
It was
didn't realize.
You know what, though? When you listen back, you can really hear it.
Yeah. Well, I said he's going to age well.
It was the theme of the show. Isaiah was a little boy. That's what we got from that one. You're dressing like a child. You look like a kid. It was awesome.
Aww, I didn't know it was so bad when I was gone. I promise to not do that again.
Well, he did put me on the spot, so let's do it to you, Nikki. What did you notice about Isaiah when you first met him?
When I first met him?
Yeah, first time you saw him.
Yeah, we will say as well, I went through a survey saying like these are the typical things that people notice. It's like hair, smile, like I forget what some of the other ones were. Like, and then I said to Hudson, I was like, oh yeah, yours is definitely your hair would be the first thing I would notice. I was like, what would you say mine is?
Oh.
And then he went completely off the survey, didn't do any of the 5 things that were on there and said, I don't know, you kind of look like a kid. Great. Awesome.
I think it was your youthful energy,
yes.
especially
Youthful.
I'm not calling him
AKA
a kid.
childish.
I mean, she put it a lot better. I mean, she might have said a similar thing, but at least it didn't sound so harsh.
It wasn't as hurtful, and I don't know. I didn't hear all the other survey options for it, but I mean, you just back to back feel like I said has a certain age about him.
Sometimes when you hear a bunch of things put together all at once, it makes it sound worse than it actually is.
Yeah,
I love chopping up. This is like these segments are like me and Hudson like telling on each other. Like I'm like splitting up these like little segments so it sounds like Hudson's really dissing me. And then earlier Hudson's like, listen to what Isaiah was doing though. Yeah, he was way worse than me.
With the Q-tips.
Yes.
I feel like I've walked back in and it was like a minefield when you guys were on
I
together.
do feel like you have to mediate a little bit.
I do.
That's what you're here for.
And I feel like you're telling on each other for the last 2 weeks of what you guys did to each other.
Yeah,
and you're telling me.
But at least it's all out. At least it's all out there.
Yeah.
It's not bubbling
We're
under
not
the surface.
hiding anything.
No.
But this next one that we have is my favorite.
There's more?
There's more.
Oh, there's more you need to hear. We have to save it. We don't have time right now, but stick around
and
to
you can
hear the
rest.
last. Oh yeah. The last one might focus on you a little bit.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, let's hear the rest in a minute.
Yeah, we'll come back to that in a bit.
Welcome to The Riot, where you listen to us and that's it. It's pretty much a one-way street. The Riot. Radio U.
A private jet.
Yes.
For
take it. Yeah.
No, not for you.
Oh.
For your pet.
Well, I have to go with them.
I guess I have to assume that if you could afford a private jet for your pet, you could also afford one for yourself, huh?
I just thought that would just be you taking your pet on a private jet.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the way I'm reading this, it kind of sounds like that's not what it is. Does it?
It seems like in this article they're talking about you sending your dog on a private jet with possibly others, and you're not going on it.
Right. Yeah, this is to rejoin with you somewhere. But does this not sound cute? Oh, it does not sound like the cutest thing. Just a whole jet. It's got like the pilot and like the flight attendants, and then it's just a bunch of pets in there. That's a movie right there.
Yeah, but why can't I go?
Yeah,
I don't want to go
because you've already left. See, the details of this story are kind of a little bit sadder, although it's still pretty cute. So people that are leaving Hong Kong. Hong Kong has some of the strictest COVID-19 restrictions. Isaiah and I think, talked in the last 2 weeks about how they wound up killing a bunch of hamsters because they found COVID-19 in a certain group of hamsters. And so basically they're like, we have to kill any of the hamsters that could have gotten it. And if you have a hamster, even if it's already your pet that was in that batch, we've still got to come and kill it. And you can't buy new hamsters now. So, like, that's how strict they're getting. You have to quarantine for 3 weeks if you're coming in from out of town, from out of country. So even a lot of people are moving out of Hong Kong, or people that had left earlier are just deciding, I'm just going to stay gone.
Until the quarantine stuff is less intensive.
Yeah, right. But
because you have to go to a hotel or a quarantine facility.
Yeah.
And then if you have pets with you, that does not work.
It's pretty serious. So what some people are doing, if they have pets in Hong Kong,
they're trying to get them out.
They can't go back to get the pets themselves, so they're chartering planes just for their pets to get them to wherever they have wound up. And apparently, the private jet companies, they're saying that the business has been booming lately
for the pets.
Because so many people are flying their pets out of Hong Kong.
Well, I guess if you can make, I wonder how much money that is, because they're saying
I mean, it's the same price as for a human, right? As in a lot?
Well, I mean, no, it's more than commercial.
Oh, yeah.
But they're saying that groups of people are kind of grouping together to take the cost.
Yeah.
And split it.
It's less, like, you're thinking this must be the richest of the rich. But they're saying because, again, of the Hong Kong restrictions, this is more normal middle-class people that are just like, I really need my dog. Or they say, like, cats, and they've seen small, like, actual hamsters and other smaller pets as well.
Aww.
The people are so desperate to reunite with them.
Birds and turtles?
Yeah.
All right, I guess.
You got to get them all out before they catch COVID there, because if the pets catch COVID, obviously they're not going to, well, I guess it should be obvious, or I hope it's obvious. In Hong Kong, they're not going to kill people with COVID. That's the whole point. But the pets, if your pet catches COVID, it sounds like all bets are off.
That.
Yeah, you don't want to, huh?
I just read this, though. I have 3 dogs and 1 cat. Can I afford to get my doggies and cat out of there? That would be, I'd have practically the whole plane as it is.
Yeah, that's right. You got bigger dogs, too, so it really would. It would take up the whole plane.
Sugar would take a couple seats up. That's all right, though. I don't mind.
I would love, I don't know, I guess, I don't know how pets would handle the plane. Especially if you got a bunch of them together. But the pictures are cute.
They must have, travel people that go with them.
Yeah.
They say that a lot of people, which is why I've never traveled with my dogs, like on a commercial plane, and they put them down below.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
That sounds scary, doesn't it?
Absolutely scares me too much. But if you need to travel with your dog, why not? You gather maybe 100 or so people.
Yeah, you have to get a lot together.
We need to spread it out. Yeah. And then you can pay to have your private plane take your dogs wherever you need to go.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki is back today. Isaiah is back. This is the first time in over 2 weeks we've had a full complement of Riot hosts,
back together,
Riot members,
all in the studio.
And while Nikki was gone, she missed out on a lot, and she is not the most dedicated podcast listener.
Oh, goodness.
I wanted you guys to have your show there while I was gone.
Without having to worry about
stuff.
you listening and checking in on us and air checking us.
I didn't want to air check you while I was gone.
But I think you missed out on some important stuff, and Isaiah thought so as well. So we have one more set of stuff that you need to hear.
Why did you add circus music to it?
It just sounded like a circus.
It feels appropriate. Doesn't it not feel
so
appropriate?
Accurate. I thought that was a pretty good addition.
I think he had an artistic vision and it really worked out.
Okay, well, let me hear what else I missed.
Let's hear this one. Hey, Troop 189.
Start boxing
Put
cookies.
those tiny little fingers to work.
How much for the baby?
$500K.
Right now.
Take it or leave it.
Maybe it was a beautiful
She gets
child.
a checkbook out, starts writing.
Yes, she's writing
That'd
the check.
be intimidating, actually.
Oh, would? I'd be like, whoa,
It'd be
whoa,
hard
whoa.
to refuse. I mean, I wouldn't sell a
You wouldn't
child.
refuse? Oh,
No, I mean, I wouldn't sell a child.
Oh,
but,
that's probably good, Hudson.
But
That's a good statement.
$500,000, she starts writing the check in front of you. So what do you think? Should we talk to Nikki about this, or is it too soon?
Oh, way too soon. We
close
can't
to
bring this
home.
up to her.
Now, the too soon.
What is that?
It's in reference to something regarding COVID-19.
Yeah.
That we're concerned about. And we
'Cause
didn't
I
want to
just
bring it
had
up to
COVID.
you. We didn't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah, we didn't want to bring it up to you over the phone.
Sure.
And while you were still recovering,
Yeah.
we wanted to break the news to you gently
Yeah.
in person
So you
is
can
it?
prepare.
on the show publicly for everyone to hear.
Okay, good,
And
great.
that is that I don't know if you might have heard this because I think there was rumblings of this a while ago, but it was just in the news that a common symptom of post-COVID recovery is hair loss.
No.
Yeah.
No. Stay with me. Stay with me, hair. Don't leave me. It better not be.
This is according to the American Academy of Dermatology Association.
Yeah.
They say that about, I think it's 2 to 3 months after you recover from COVID,
Is when
you
your
may
hair starts
start to
falling
find
out?
your hair falling. I mean, it's not everybody, so it might not be you, but it
But
also
some
might
people-
be.
Why do you have to bring it up?
I thought you should be prepared.
We talked about it on the show, and when we were reading the article, I mean, it was just so timely that
Yeah.
you just so happened. We actually had
Yeah.
announced that you had COVID that day.
Well,
and then we
I-
went on to tell that story.
I feel very fortunate. Like, I had hardly any symptoms, any problems. Just so many people around me kept getting contagious, like, and it lasted longer.
Yeah.
So I felt like, hey, I remember I was like, wow, you really didn't
lucked
get
out,
anything.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I don't want any like post-COVID because they always like long haul or like the after
Yeah.
stuff and like the COVID toes. Like, please don't get anything. Please don't get
No.
anything on. So I hope not. I don't want to hear about the COVID hair loss.
So much stuff to be concerned about. Now they say it's because of the stress related to recovering and the fever. And they say really
I never even had a fever.
you
Just
never
stay
had
calm.
a fever, so maybe you'll be
Stay
safe.
calm.
Yeah, just
never
don't
had a
stress.
fever.
Just don't stress about it.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
no big deal. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, when does anybody else do this? When someone says "don't stress," what do? I stress about it.
All of a sudden, the forehead vein
I think
is
I
popping
can
out.
see your hair falling out right now.
Maybe you shouldn't return to work. Maybe we're the stressful part of
That could
what's
be
going to
it.
make her lose her hair.
Well, and whether you had COVID or not,
I know.
it will stress you out.
Listen, I'm not even going to brush it. We're just going to just let
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
it be, and whatever else I can do. But hopefully that does not happen.
Do they have? I know they have just for men and stuff like that. That can make your thinning hair seem thicker. Or
Oh,
do
they've
they
got
have-
everything.
yeah,
Oh,
do they have that for women too?
Yeah, it's the same
just
thing.
for women.
Well,
Just
Or are
for
you not
women.
allowed to use just for men? Or?
first off, no offense, but we don't use stuff like named like that.
Just for men.
yeah,
With how much we like color our hair, oh yeah, you have
There's
to have a
everything.
lot of stuff.
yeah, some product that will
For sure.
keep it going good.
Well, let's not bring up any other possible post-COVID weird things.
Oh, so you don't even want to hear about the study that we talked about regarding wine and beer consumption and COVID?
Oh, yeah. It can save your life.
You know what?
It's too late for you, anyways.
Let's just leave it how it is, and then
Yes.
check back in with me in a few months.
Yeah,
and we'll see how it goes.
We'll be keeping an eye on your hair.
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Isaiah has returned from his golf trip to Florida.
Do you feel like a jet setter because you go to Florida to play some golf, you come back?
Just for a weekend.
I feel so good right now as I come back to the coldness of
you
my
got
life.
sun.
Yeah, so I am a little bit disappointed. I feel a little bit tanner, but I will say at the same time, I didn't get quite the raise I was hoping for. It wasn't nearly as hot is I thought it would be in Florida, as we talked about a little bit earlier on the show.
Yeah.
They've been experiencing a little bit of colder weather. I had one day where it was pretty warm, and then on Saturday it was a little bit chillier, but still I was wearing shorts and a T-shirt, so I can't complain that
But you
much.
definitely got some sun.
Yeah, I got a little bit of sun on here.
I was thinking about your trip, and it's funny that taking a golf trip to Florida is the kind of. At first, I was like, "That's such a retiree thing to do," but it is appropriate. It's a weird kind of thing that whether you're a retiree or whether you're a fresh-faced recent college graduate that wants to go on a bro trip, either way, golfing in Florida works for that, you know?
Yeah, and if you remember back, too, on what was it, Thursday's show, I swore up and down. I made one promise to the listeners. What did I say? I said I will not sit in the middle seat.
That was the next thing I wanted to ask you about.
Of the airplane, and I will tell you this, I did not sit in the middle seat of the airplane. I had 4 flights because neither of them were direct, going down or back.
Yeah.
And there was only one where I almost had to sit in the middle seat, and it was the very first flight. Obviously, we talked about how I forgot to check in, so I was like the last one to get on the plane.
He was in Group C.
So wait, you
That's
were
how
flying
bad it was.
Southwest?
Southwest, yep.
Yeah.
I was in Group C, and it was a completely full flight on the way down. So I was like, there's no way I escape without sitting in the middle seat,
Yeah.
right? And then we get to we're walking down. It's just me and my roommate who are boarding the plane, and we just keep walking. So we want to sit next to each other, and we keep on walking. We get to the very last row. There are 2 seats in the last row, and thankfully, the man, and it was so odd, the man was sitting in the middle of the 2 seats, right? I know, exactly. I was like, why wouldn't he go to the window?
Yeah.
And so I thought that when me and Andrew would come into the row, then he would like scoot over and go for the window. He wanted the middle seat. He wanted it, which
So
was
you
the
and
weirdest
your-
thing.
You guys
That
couldn't
is
sit next to
crazy.
each other?
No, we were on each side of him, and so I was window, he was aisle, and it ended up working out. And then every flight after that, it was just Andrew and I, 2 to a 3-person row, so we had a
Yeah.
little middle seat between us. But I did not sit middle the entire time.
Well, you
guy.
got him good, dude.
I know, right? I swore by it. I knew I wouldn't do it, and
You
I was
found
able to
the
finagle my
one
way in.
person in the entire world that sat in the middle seat out of
Who
choice.
wanted
Exactly.
to.
He wanted the middle.
That's that's one of the
Well,
craziest, most
sometimes-
unhinged things I've ever heard.
But sometimes people will do that, especially in the back of the plane, because then they hope no one will sit
Oh,
on their seat.
now that's an idea,
And then they
isn't
get the
it?
whole row to themselves.
Exactly. That's what he was
Yeah.
trying to do. But it was a full flight, so no matter what, people were going to be sitting in those seats. And so it was a good flights down there. But I will say, I realize now that there's one thing that had not been on top of my list of most hated things. And now it has now emerged as one of the top ones, and that is TSA. I officially hate going through
What
that.
did
You're
they
not
do to you?
pre-screened?
Listen, it was terrible. I'm not pre-screened. I'm obviously too big of a threat, as you can see. Coming in, they're like, we got to check this guy. He has to go through the metal detector, preferably twice. It was terrible. It took so long, and it was so unnecessary. They were asking me all kinds of questions. I felt like they were judging me.
You look guilty.
It was terrible. As I was putting my things through the metal detector, like as you put your bag on the little conveyor belt, and it's supposed to just push through, and the lady there is asking me like a million questions. And I'm like, well, what does the metal detector do? If you're asking me what's in here, what does it even do then? She's like, do you have a Kindle? Do you have a tablet? Do you have an iPad? I'm like, why don't you just take 5 seconds and you'll see what goes through when you look at the little screen and you can see what's in there. She's asking me all these questions. I'm feeling all flustered. I'm like, oh no, it's just. And I stopped talking. She's like, it's just what? What's under there? And I'm like, it's just my phone. I just have my phone and my wallet. My shoes are in there. And so TSA has officially emerged as one of my biggest hatreds of
That's a
going through
tough
things.
one.
Look at that. The TSA is worse than the middle seats.
Yeah,
Yes.
I never know with the TSA when you go through what to. I never know how far I need to disrobe. You
Yes.
know, all the stuff I need to take out of my pockets. Do I leave the
Oh, I
belt
gotcha.
on or off? Shoes on or off?
Sure.
Because it feels, I don't know if it's ever changed. It feels like it changes. My awareness of what I need to put on and take off changes every time.
So it looks like you're either too eager or
Yeah,
you're
right.
not doing enough.
yeah,
Exactly.
I start taking off the belt. They're like, whoa.
Easy,
we don't
buddy,
know
easy.
each other that well.
Nobody wants to see that. You're like, well, I'm just trying to show you guys. I'm just
Safety.
trying to get on the
For
plane.
safety.
Trying to get on the plane.
Got
I want
nothing
to
to
mark this
hide.
down. I don't want to fly with you two. Okay.
No,
So
we
I
barely
think
escaped through.
Have they ever? One more thing. Have they ever done that thing to you where they randomly swab you?
Swab.
they swap
Yeah.
the stuff.
Swab you with what? Where are you getting
Swab?
swabbed?
They like will take
For
a swab off
explosives.
your hand.
Of your hand? They'll give you like a Q-tip?
They just randomly choose people. At least that's what they say, but they've done it to me.
Because some people have if you take medicine or something, like you could have stuff on your fingers.
Residue.
And then some of it marks as like explosives, even though it's not really.
So the bomb dust on your hands.
A reoccurring member of that to keep on swabbing you? Or is that a one-time
It's happened to me one time.
You go and ask the kid.
It came up negative as far as I know.
Are you sharing the Q-tip?
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't swab anybody else with this, did you?
Oddly enough.
Don't want to be included.
For work?
Yeah, it's just a prank.
That's enough of that. For more Riot content, head to riot.radiou.com.